sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward.
So what do you need
Welcome
to do?
everybody, and hello, this is Andrew David.
What you need to do is be that person that's different.
And it's bigger than you think.
Friday,
Rise from the ashes and fly like the
every day,
phoenixes that you
same
are.
time, same link. Live here at noon on the YouTube channel if you're watching the replay. Now, we have an amazing group that comes here all of the time, and you guys come because we talk about success, we talk about mindset, we talk about skill set. I know I always get a bigger bump when there's guests because people like hearing everybody else's voices as well. It's not just mine. And a lot of you guys are here consistently, and I want to applaud that. Now, quick question, couple of quick questions for you. And you can raise your hand and you can drop into the chat if that is something that you'd like to do, or you can just kind of internalize your answers. And part of it may depend on how active you've been. So first question is, how are your goals for the year going? Some people may call them resolutions. I think resolutions are silly. I think goals are something you should be setting all of the time. But how are your goals for the year? How are they going? You realize, and I know almost every person on this phone call doesn't fall into this category, but I've seen different studies, different numbers when it comes to goals and writing down goals and how powerful that is. Do you realize over 90% of the world's population never writes down an actual goal in their life? And look, 112.5% of every statistic is made up at some point. So that may or may not be true. But let's assume it's true. Let's assume there's a huge percentage of the world's population that never writes down goals. And the question is why? Why don't we do it? I think over the course of the last 30, 40 years, there has been this influx of simply, fear. Absolutely. Fear and laziness, I think, are the two biggest reasons. Now, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of actually making yourself work and having to hold yourself accountable. I think, you think you won't achieve it, but I think a lot of this is that people are scared of the price because there is a price to pay, right? Now, however you want to define success, anybody that's listening to this for maybe the first time, I want you to recognize I'm not one of those individuals that's going to define success for you. I have made that very clear in a number of different trainings. You have to define success. However you want to define it, whatever you want to say success is, go out and define it for yourself. Now, I will say that there are people that come in and say, hey, success is whatever you make it, and it doesn't have anything to do with money. It doesn't have anything to do with this, that. And those are people that simply are scared of, they have the fear of the work and the pain and the price and having to avoid laziness, because let's be real, everything in this life does have some kind of price tag on it, whatever goal you want to put on it. And if it's a big scary goal, then it's going to have a big fat gold price tag. And if it's a small goal, maybe it's just one of those little supermarket stick-on price tags. But everything has a price tag. And a lot of people are scared to pay it. Okay, so fear of being visible. So here's where that price comes in. We say things like we set up certain goals, but a lot of times we don't write them down, because writing them down in a way, it turns that goal into some form of contract with ourselves, right? So here's the other part of that question. How many of you guys, for your goals for the year, wrote them down and have looked at them in the last week or two? Because Catalina's got her cards, and I know she pulls those out all the time. But a lot of people will write down the goal, and then if you live on your own, it's a lot easier. You can have your card, you maybe put it up on the mirror. But a lot of people write down their goals, and then they're kind of scared that other people are going to look at them. And if you've got a family, you've got a significant other, you've got kids, you got something like that, then those goals go on a piece of paper, and then they get folded up, and then they get put into a book that kind of gets set to side, or it goes into a drawer. You don't look at them for months and months and months. Jess, I'm glad they're ever present in your brain. I'm guessing they're probably written down based on some of the other things that you said, but you do not pay the price of success. You enjoy the price of success. However you want to say it, the semantics of paying or enjoying the price. The fact of the matter is that there is a price. So writing them down, looking at it and looking at that contract that you have with yourselves. Yeah, vision boards are fantastic, but we do have these fears. Now, here's the reality, guys. Sometimes people will say, well, I want to be, independently wealthy, financially free, whatever, and whatever that number equals for some of you. Everybody's number is a little bit different. Say it's 100 million, 10 million, whatever. There's a price to be paid. The reality is, in order to generate $10 million, you got to put in the work. I don't care how much you manifest it, how much you affirm it, how much you put it into the universe. The universe says, hey, we'll put things in place, but damn it, you got to meet us halfway. You got to do some work. Doesn't just fall out of the sky. And sometimes people get upset when the opportunity for success is there and all they're doing is the manifestation side of it without actually putting themselves in a place to make that a reality. You've got to be willing to pay the price. Here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do today. Hopefully everybody's got a pen and paper, and hopefully, I'm going to tell you what it is right now. I'm going to type these into the Skype group in a little bit. So Carissa, if you want to write these down for me, because Carissa is the always amazing rock star. She's going to take these down. She's going to type them in and drop it into the chat, but you guys should be doing this too. I'm going to put it into Skype a little bit later on. I want you guys to do kind of like Catalina did, find some cards or find something that you will be able to see all the damn time, all the time. So if you're going to put it on a piece of paper and then fold it up and put it away, that doesn't count. You won't get anything out of it. Okay. So you can do the 3x5 cards. I've got some, I keep some right here. I write my goals out every single day in my journal. So I do it a little bit differently, but here's what I want you guys to do. Either on a card like that, or a card that you can keep in your pocket, in your wallet, or a lot of us now are staying home so much, or we're only using our phones. So something that you can look at these every day. And that's really the key. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I got a bunch of messages I got to check here. Goals written on paper on the wall beside. That's great. Goal to get my first customer for my agency business. 2 requests for websites. Now I have to go figure out how to do it. Good. Hell yes, Cindy. That's exactly, can you do that? Yes, I can. How the hell do I do this? Right? As long as it's in the vein that you're looking for, or not. I hope you understand this and you got the epiphany from some of the other conversations that we've had. You don't have to do it. Find somebody else that can. White label it, pay them a chunk, because 20, 30, 40, 50% of something is a hell of a lot better of 0% of, or 100% of nothing, right? I've said it before, like I'm okay taking a smaller piece of the pie. I was talking with someone about a JV yesterday and we were talking about that. And I said, look, dude, we don't have to sign. I don't need to open an LLC. I don't need to be your partner. That's not what I'm looking to do. You keep the majority. I just want this much from the side that I do. I'm going to stay in my lane. I know what I'm good at, and I'm damn good at it. And I'm going to help you become better at what you do. And this is the piece that I want. That's it, right? 20, 30% of something's a hell of a lot better than 100% of nothing. So here's what we've got. As far as, Bob Proctor may have a goal card. If he does, that's great. There's so much stuff that Bob's got that I haven't been able. I read a lot of stuff. I'm all over the place, and my ADHD is kicking in right now. It's obvious. So here's what you're doing. I need you guys to have 4 cards. Okay. You're going to write down goal number 1, card number 1, goal number 1, card number 1. This is going to be something that you cannot complete in your lifetime. Some goal that is so big and so audacious and so crazy, so phenomenal that it's going to be nearly impossible for you to complete in your lifetime. An example of that would be, I want every educated adult in this planet to understand at least some of the philosophies that I have as the Phoenix Mentor. I want people to know my name and at least 1 or 2 phrases that I have put out there. Now, every grown adult on the planet, man, that's a big goal, right? That's something that I've thought about. I probably won't be able to complete that, but I can go after it, right? So something that's big. I want you guys to stretch your imagination beyond what you previously have. Okay? Something that you cannot realistically complete in your lifetime. The second goal I want you to write down is going to be, and I don't need you to write this down. I don't need you to write the goal out right now. I want you to write the question, because you're going to put some thought into this. Is going to be the exact amount of money that you want to be able to generate for yourself. Now, some of you guys are going to immediately write this down, but I want you to take some time and think, because there's a price to be paid for whatever that number is. And you've got to decide that you're willing to pay the price. So if the goal is 50 million, 10 million, 5 million, whatever, like 100,000 a year, the price to pay that, there's still a price, but it's much different than getting myself to 20, 30, 40, 50 million. It's a totally different ballgame, right? You know, those bigger numbers that some of you have the goals for, which is great. I got zero problems with them, but understand it's going to involve alienating family and friends. Having to say, look, I don't have the time for that because I'm seriously focused on this. Now, you should have a reason why you want to achieve it, but that's part of it, right? You can't say, you know, and there is a price. There's always a reaction to any choice. You can't say, well, I'm going to give up drinking and then think that you're going to be able to hang out with your friends as often as you did, because at some point they're drinking and they get uncomfortable with the fact that you're not. I know, because I don't drink. And some people, you know, they enjoy hanging out. And then every once in a while they're like, I just feel weird that you're not drinking. And here I am getting trashed. I'm like, okay, that's a price that I pay for that health choice that I've made, right? I don't get to enjoy certain foods as much as I'd like to, though I probably still enjoy them more than I should. I don't get to enjoy them as often as I'd like to because of the choices I've made. When it comes to my business, yeah, I was last night, 10 o'clock, studying, reading, right? Working on my stuff. I've got some new funnels I'm getting ready to get out there, not just with Blake's products, with some other JVs that I've got. It's going to take work. What does that mean? No TV, no this or that. You know, we were leaving the gym last night and I had to turn to my fiance and say, no, I can't go out and like, we can't go to dinner tonight because I got to get this done. You know, I got to get home. We've got prep meals. Let's eat that and then do something else. So the exact amount of money, and I want you to think about it and think about the price that you're willing to pay. And there should be you should be willing to say, yeah, I'm going to do the work. Because a lot of times people go, well, I'm frustrated that I haven't launched, or I haven't done this yet, or I haven't done that. And then you sit down and you go, well, have you written out that goal and seriously thought about the price? Because a lot of people will write out the goal, not think about the price, and then get frustrated that the goal hasn't been achieved and you haven't done anything to pay it. And you can enjoy paying the price. The quote from Zig that Sarah and Craig posted, but you got to still pay it, right? It still happens. So goal number 1 is something you cannot achieve in this lifetime. Goal number 2 is the exact amount of money that you want to be able to achieve. Think about it because you've got that price connected to it. The next one that you're going to do, you're going to write out a goal that improves your current situation over the course of the next year. Now, when I was studying about this, I was reading a letter talking about this, about paying the price, about the reality of setting goals. And honestly, the guy, I love the way that it was written, but honestly, it was a little bit harsh. And if I brought it exactly the way that he talked about it, it might hit some people between the eyes, and I'd end up with some emails afterwards, people pissed off. So I've changed things a little bit. Your third goal is something that will improve the current situation in your life over the course of the year. Now, this is where you get to decide. This is where you have a little bit of leeway. Goals number 3 and 4, you have a little leeway. This one is whether that current situation that you're wanting to change is health. It can be your housing situation, where you live, or the status of the house. Maybe just the house needs the repairs. It's got that honey-do list that you never got around to. Maybe it's actually moving. Mine is going to be, I love our condo that we're in, but we've been in it for a while and it's time for the house. So that's on mine. It could be a family relationship. It could be financial, but current situation, something to change it in the course of this next year, something you're going to do to improve it. That makes sense for everybody? Yes? Okay. The fourth one, card number 4, this is special. Card number 4, this is where you're really going to have to pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Card number 4, I want you to think about the goal you wrote down on card 2 for a moment. On card 4, I want you to answer the question with this goal. So the question is, Krista and whoever else is writing this, and again, I'm going to write these into the Skype group. The question for card 4 is, what one thing can I do right now, today, which will take me a step closer to this goal? Okay, so card 2 is the exact amount of money. Card 4 is answering the question, what one thing can I do right now, today, which will take me one step closer to this goal? Now, it could be a simple thing. It could be a phone call. It could be, messaging some people on social media. It could be posting a handful of things. It could be studying and then posting. Education and execution. You've got to do both. Don't ever educate yourself without taking action in some way or another. It could be investing in something. It could be going out and doing whatever it is. Okay. What is going to advance you one step closer to that financial dream? That's what you answer on card 4. Now, card 4 is where the power happens. Card 4 is where you take control of your life. Card 4 goes out on a rotating basis because every single time that you complete whatever one goal that you set on card 4, you write another card 4 and you get to work. And then you write another card 4 and you get to work. And you write another card 4 and you get to work. And for those of you that are serious about achieving some goals, having a stack of those cards, that's something that you should look at each and every night or once a week. And you should look at the stuff that you're getting done so that you see progression, because that's how you enjoy paying the price for your success. That's how you find faith and joy in your journey. That's how you avoid living in the gap. And if you haven't listened to some of those trainings, go back and listen. But guys, that's how you do it, is you continuously set that goal. That's a small daily goal, something that you can do that you get done. And then you create another card 4 and you keep those rotating. What is the next thing I need to do in order to take the next step towards the financial goals? Now, on the remaining cards, you can write out other goals. You can write out other things, but those 4 are going to be your keys to your success during this year. Okay, I'm going to show you my 4 cards tomorrow. This is legitimately something that I was studying, I was looking at, and I said, you know what, this is something I need to do. And so this is why I am here sharing. So everybody can commit to writing out 4 cards. Yes? Everybody good doing that? I'm going to check in. Look at Robert. Yeah, 4. Remember we used to do that high school fourth quarter? Anybody used to do that? Football games? I'm going to make sure I check in from time to time. I want to make sure that you guys are reviewing these goals consistently. Don't put them in a drawer. Don't put them away. Don't put them up in a closet. Review them. And if you want to have the 3 on a wall or as part of your vision board, that's great. But that 4th goal better be rotating because you're getting stuff done, ladies and gentlemen. So on that note, sit down, create out your 4 goals. I'm going to drop these 4, write it out. Chris's got them, I think. Yep. So she's going to, Chris, I need you to post that for me in, if you're in the Skype group, go ahead, post them in there. Otherwise, just post it in our chat and I'll move it over. Thank you, Krista, for taking those notes for me. Guys, write those down today. Find some cards, find some paper, get it in your journal. If you're putting it in a journal, you're
sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it.
I'm telling you that.
Go forward.
You got to.
So what do you need to do?
All the
How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different,
and it's bigger than you think.
Rise from the ashes.
Rise from the ashes. Everybody, take care, guys. Bye bye.